So a couple years ago, I did a Kickstarter for my webcomic William the Last just to get chapter one in print. And I was packing up some things here in the studio and moving them out of the room just to get some space because I had a bunch of boxes and things. And I had been selling William the Last at shows just to help promote and everything. I had extra copies after the Kickstarter and stuff. So I move all these boxes out and I realize I have, gosh, I probably got 800 or something of these issues left. And I was thinking because, well, basically trying to figure out what to do with them, right? Because I would like to, in a perfect world, you would sell them all and you get that money to make another print run. The problem is, realistically, at a convention for your own creator-owned comic, how many comics are you actually going to sell? The most years ago, 10, gosh, no, more than that, maybe 13 some years ago, a long time ago, early 2000s, right? I had to think there. So, I mean, Heroes Con, and there were two shows, Heroes Con in San Diego back then. At Heroes Con, it was 2006, that's when it was. I sold 100 issues of a creator-owned book, which was crazy. Then at San Diego, that same year, I sold 200. That to now, 10 years later, in retrospect, with 10 years since of conventions under my belt, that seems ridiculous. Because it is ridiculous. Realistically, unless you're, I guess, standing there being maybe if you're a better salesman than I am, you can move books. But most people that I know that have creator-owned books are not selling that nearly even that amount, and I have never been able to really replicate that. So I'm selling at the most maybe 10. Okay, so and that's a good show. So if I sell 10 at a show, I'm thinking, wow, this is a busy. I'm selling a lot of books. Not really, because I have 800 of them left. So how long is it going to take me to? So the problem is, if I'm trying to figure out what to do with the books, that I think that at Heroes Con I'm going to give away maybe 50 copies of it just as promotion, because what I've realized is that if it's not in stores, and I was talking to a friend of mine who owns a store, and I think if you have a book, the stores want to know when the next issue is coming out. And because mine was a Kickstarter thing, and I'm with my project, I'm trying to move towards either finding a publisher, or if I do another Kickstarter, it's going to be for a trade paperback, multiple, like book, basically a book one of this whole story. Which leaves me, what am I going to do at that point with chapter one, this single issue of the book? So I think the smartest thing, is to use it as a promotional material, get it out, get people to read the webcomic more, build up a bigger audience, so that if it is time, or whatever happens with it, there's a bigger audience. So I think at Heroes Con I'm going to maybe every show I'll start giving away issues. I've only been charging $2 for it anyway, which is dirt cheap. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. So I mean, that just kind of, if you have a creator-owned book and you're wondering, or you're getting ready to make your own book and you're taking it to conventions, realistically how much you're going to sell of it, it depends on the book, depends on the show, depends on you, but you're not going to sell 1,000 copies at a show. Now if you're getting a book printed up, that's you're printing up regular issues, then you can hit stores and get them into stores and things, I think. But again, this is getting into the publishing aspect of a book, and I hate doing the business into the publishing. Like I tried to publish the book that I did years ago. It was back before Kickstarter and all that, so it was like we had to spend a couple $1,000 to get this book printed, and then trying to get it through Diamond and all this stuff, and that's crazy. But Kickstarter has made things a little bit easier. So that's why I think it'd be easier if I had a completed, thicker trade, volume one of something that can sit on a shelf and be self-contained. That I feel like is a better product to sell than the single issue of a book that when's it coming out, right? So that's just kind of what I'm going back and forth with today, and I just wanted to, if you have some books that or a book that you're doing, I'd love to hear what your experience is. How much stuff have you sold? What was your best show? What's your average? So I'd like to know. So maybe you can help me, give me some advice for promoting a book and selling a book. But I think the way in the last chapter one Kickstarter thing is going to be more of a promotional, which was kind of an option all along. So I think moving all those boxes out of the studio is what kind of made me think, oh, this is a lot of stuff. I need to move this and get this out into people's hands. It's not doing anybody good here. It's going to take me the rest of my life to sell this many books. So anyway, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. There's a nice little watermark that appears right over here that you can click, and if you're on a desktop anyway, and subscribe. I just hit 100 subscribers today, so awesome. Actually, I shot over that. So I have a new URL, now it's youtube.com/Brian Shearer, so it's much easier to remember. And another live video from this morning of laying out a comic book, so check that in the Brian Draws playlist. And now I've got to go pick up my son. I will see you all tomorrow.